Hello traders, good day to you all. This is Christopher Glenn. Today it is the 11th of July 2014. Today is Friday, the end of Friday's session. We received an announcement regarding the Canadian dollar giving an additional weakness on behalf of the Canadian dollar. And I'd like to give you an expression of next week, the potential of next week. During this daily analysis, I want to talk about the potential in terms of which day will deliver enough liquidity for us to trade on or to analyze. And I'll go over the entire weekly calendar. After that, I will talk about the dollar index and other charts as we've received an additional information from the market. So Monday, the 14th of July, we will receive several good announcements regarding the European Central Bank. President Draghi will have a speech over there. Again, usually he talks about the interest rate, he talks about unemployment claims, unemployment rate, sorry, and the potential of seeing some sort of movement, some sort of confidence on behalf of the reaction of the European Central Bank in the current status of the economy. So we can expect to see a lot of liquidity driven out of this announcement on Monday. Usually on Mondays are very quiet, but this is a very important announcement. And for the past several weeks, we've received several announcements from Draghi. And that announcement, every time it delivered liquidity, so I'm expecting it to deliver liquidity over here as well. My expectation is that the euro will lose strength. I was expecting the euro to lose strength for the past week and for the pound as well. I was right with my assumption. I was expecting the dollar to gain strength. I was right with my assumption. I can't say that I got 100% of prediction, obviously, but I do have some sort of an aspect according to the elite wave analysis that shows that the European market should fall down a bit. So expectation of weakness on behalf of the euro, pound, and Swiss franc. And we will discuss this issue when we'll talk about the dollar index later on. Australian dollar announcement later tonight, monetary policy meeting. Again, Australian dollar is a very, very important currency because it will affect the aspect of the Australian dollar and the New Zealand, and it will affect the continuance of markets expression. So pay attention to the announcement regarding the Australian dollar late at night. I wouldn't trade the Australian dollar at the beginning of the week. Usually what happens is that the Australian dollar and the New Zealand, they catch some sort of an aspect during at the beginning of the week, and then we will see a continuance of the same potential, meaning that if the Australian dollar would express weakness over here, then we will see the Australian dollar weakening during the entire week. That is the assumption. That's what I can tell you according to my experience. Japanese yen, monetary policy, another Bank of Japan press conference announcement as well. Tentative, not a specific day, not a specific time. But during the day, we will see the Japanese yen expressing some sort of movement. I will analyze the Japanese yen currencies, giving you a potential for strengthening or weakening Japanese yen in the market. Pound, we can see that we've got another CPI announcement pretty early. Just one second, please. Okay, trader, I had a problem with the hours. Right now it's according to GMT time. It was according to the US markets time frame. I will talk about the announcements in terms of time frame again. Pay attention that on Monday we will receive French bank holiday over here. The European market will work. It doesn't mean that we won't receive any kind of liquidity, but again, the French market specifically will um, celebrate. Let's see what is the celebration over here in France. National Day. Okay, so specifically French market will be closed, but all the other markets, German market and so on and so on, will be open. The pound, the Swiss franc will continue the movement as well. Again, as we said, we've talked about over here. It's already at 6 p.m. The European Central Bank President Draghi will speak over here. So morning time on Monday, I'm expecting to see low amount of liquidity. Then on the afternoon, we will see liquidity driven out of this announcement. But generally, Monday will be liquidized more than a usual Monday because of this announcement. But before that, I'm not expecting to see a lot of movement in the markets. Tuesday, the 15th, we will receive several good announcements. We've got an announcement regarding the Australian dollar that we already talked about, and Japanese yen market tentative announcement, not a specific indication, just a general press conference. Again, there's a lot of things in terms of economy that are moving along in Japan and in Europe. A lot of efforts are being made um, to change the aspect of economy over there, and we can see that the government is actually fighting. The Bank of Japan is fighting to weakening the Japanese yen itself. We can see that it was helpful for a long time, but right now the Japanese yen just bouncing backward and forward around the same levels. Therefore, I see a very important expression for this potential in terms of announcement. Pound, again, CPI report we've got over here. Um, we can look at the past in terms of the pound. We can see that we've received small deviations out of this announcement. Again, it is a very important deviation, but still we can say that we've received several announcements that was expressing the actual figure, was expressing the forecast. I see a potential for change over here, but not significant. Let's move forward to 10 a.m. We've got another announcement regarding the euro, the German announcement. Generally Tuesday, I do expect to see a lot of liquidity because we've got 1:30 p.m. We've got a core retail sales on the United States and retail sales. Several announcements, very important ones. So I do expect Tuesday to deliver a lot of liquidity. We can see several more announcements. Even Yellen will give her testify over here at 3 p.m. regarding the US market, and then we'll receive the New Zealand. So I do expect Thursday to deliver a lot of Tuesday to deliver a lot of liquidity. According to announcement that we can see over here. Wednesday, nothing really important at the morning time, just the Chinese market over here. We know that the Chinese currency is trying to again getting to the global market. We see a lot of reports over there, and we see a lot of interesting movements on the currency specifically. Nothing really devastating or important for the global market yet, but the currency itself is gaining strength, moving toward an global economy, in being a part of the global economy. Again, Wednesday we will see some liquidity. We've got a lot of announcement over here regarding Canada at 3 p.m. and before that regarding the Canadian dollar manufacturing sales and the PPI report on behalf of the US market. So we've got another very important day, unemployment rate in England, and let's see what was the past effect. We can see that there are several deviations, significant deviations from past forecasts, but we can say that usually the forecast is very accurate. So 6.5 seems like a logical explanation for the unemployment rate in England. Logical expression, but we should see some sort of movement over here. And moving forward, again at the end of the trading day, we've got another Bank of Canada press conference. So we've got a very, very important day in terms of the Canadian dollar. We saw the Canadian dollar losing strength out of the announcement that we had this Friday, today, but still we've got a great potential over here on Wednesday, the 16th of July. Tuesday, usually very liquidized day. Over here, we only have the unemployment claims in the United States and billing permits, the only important announcements. After that, we will have an indication regarding the manufacturing indication of the United States. But again, it is a pretty slow day in terms of economy. When we're paying attention to other Thursdays, it will be low liquidity in front of other days. Usually Thursday is the liquidized day. In this week, I'm expecting other days to form liquidity. Friday, again, several announcements regarding the Canadian dollar, an announcement regarding the US dollar. Basically, a nice Friday, no question about it. Nice Friday in terms of liquidity, good potential. So, just to complete the entire analysis of this week's potential, my expectation is that Wednesday will be a blast, and Tuesday as well. Thursday will be weaker than other Thursdays that we've seen in the past. So the strongest day for this week are Tuesday and Wednesday. That is my expectation. These are the days that I'll pay attention to during the day. I'd like you to see several indications that we've received over here. Let's look at the Canadian dollar in front of the Japanese yen. Okay, if you can see over here, that was the time when the announcement regarding the Canadian dollar was published. We can see that strong liquidized downtrend movement weakness on behalf of the Canadian dollar significantly. We can also see that the New Zealand, which was a pretty strong currency during this Friday, lost a lot of strength at the end of the session. So we've got pretty weak New Zealand and Canadian dollar, while all the other currencies, we can say that the gold did not lose a lot of strength. The dollar itself lost a lot of strength. The Swiss franc lost a lot of strength in front of the Japanese yen, the euro as well, and the pound as well. So we can see definitely that the Japanese yen gained a lot of strength at the end of the at the end of Friday, the end of the market's reaction. And over here we can see very nicely the Canadian dollar was the biggest loser. The pound after that, the Swiss franc, and the New Zealand as well. The Australian dollar and the dollar itself and the euro lost a bit of strength in the market, while the gold kept its perspective. So we can say that we can begin the week with a weak New Zealand and pound, a mild Canadian dollar, Australian dollar, euro, and US dollar. Swiss franc is pretty weak as well. And again, the gold, the precious metals will keep their aspect until we'll receive some indication regarding the US dollar. Let's look at the dollar index, and I'll analyze several days before. Okay, so just to remind you, I told you that we've received an impulse movement climbing higher over here, 5 waves of an uptrend movement. Then we've received an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave dropping back down to this support line of 80 rate. Since then, we've received another uptrend movement. The dollar kept its uptrend movement, gaining strength during the 10th, the 11th as well. And this strong uptrend movement seems like a continuance of a corrective pattern. The thing is that we've received a trend line based on these 3 lines over here, and we've received a pullback toward the trend line. We've received bouncing backward and forward under the trend line, and then we've crossed this trend line in an impulse movement, no question about it. We've got 5 waves over here, 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5, and right now we can see a corrective pattern dropping down. The potential on the dollar, according to the elite wave analysis, is to continue its uptrend movement. I've been talking about this uptrend movement for the past several weeks. The potential, and we can see the expression at the moment. We will need to move forward a bit higher to make this assessment a real assessment, but at the moment we will need to wait a bit more so that we'll see this expression. Again, I expect the dollar to express a lot of announcements during this week, and we've got a great potential to see the dollar gaining strength, the potential itself to express what we're expecting it to. Let's move forward to the commodities. The gold is in, as I said, in front of the Japanese yen. We saw that the gold did not lose a lot of strength, but the gold already moved down in an impulse movement, and then we can see a corrective pattern, sideways corrective pattern. The expectation is to see the gold falling down, as I'm expecting the dollar to gain strength in the market. We can see approximately the same expression forming on the silver. Again, impulse movement climbing higher, sideways corrective pattern. Let me just erase this dollar index chart. Okay. So again, impulse movement climbing higher, sideways corrective pattern. There is a potential to see a bit of an uptrend over here regarding the silver, but still, generally I see this chart falling down, the gold and the silver as well. And usually I'm paying attention to three assets in front of the US dollar: the Russian ruble, the Turkish, and the South African rand. We can see that at the end of the time frame, at the end of the trading session, we've received weakness on behalf of the dollar in front of all three. We saw that in front of the Japanese yen as well, but let's look at the larger image. Let's look at the daily chart of each and every one of them so that we'll be able to predict some sort of potential. Okay, so we've received, you can see the arrows over here. My prediction was accurate that we'll see an uptrend movement. Since then, we've received a corrective sideways pattern. The expectation is still to see an uptrend movement, stronger dollar in front of the South African rand, in front of the Turkish as well, because we've received the completion of an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave, and in front of the Russian ruble. I'm still looking for an additional information to gain some confidence, but still we can see that we've received an impulse movement climbing higher, and we've received some sort of structure dropping down. I will stay away from the dollar versus the Russian ruble, just not the same as all the other currencies. I see low amount of potential in front of the Russian ruble at the moment. I assume that it's because of the inconsistent movement that we can see over there, um, in terms of economy, in terms of relationship between Russia and the Ukraine. So we will have to wait a bit to see some sort of expression that will continue again. Just to show you what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for the market to break this trend line. It's a very solid trend line that shows that the market is still in a corrective pattern. Once we'll cross that, then other traders, other investors will see this potential of an uptrend movement, and then we'll see strong long liquidized uptrend movement, just as we've received over here on these areas. So that is a very important area to cross. Once we'll cross this trend line approximately at 34.4, then we'll receive the confirmation that this market is moving forward to a higher rate, and that will be an approval for us to actually participate in a trade on the dollar versus the Russian ruble. On all the others, the Turkish and the South African rand, I see potential to see a continuous of an uptrend. At the moment, the Russian ruble is the only one that has a question mark on it. I wish you all the best with your trades. Have a pleasant day, and bye bye.